Hello everyone and welcome to this course of Ethics, the Task of Becoming Better. This is the first unit, Persuit for Happiness. In this first unit, on how to talk about the pursuit for happiness, we first need to understand what happiness is. To understand what happiness is, we need to understand that we have first to pursue goods and happiness, because happiness is the greater good that we have in our lives. First of all, what's good? Have you ever think on what's good for you? What's good for me? Is it the same? Is it different? Maybe you can say different. Maybe you can say Pablo needs something that's good for him is with his family in a family vacation, but for you is going to a trip with your friends. Maybe my family and your friends are not the same, but it's a good. Also, money is a good stuff. So what's good? Well, in a normal way to understand good, we have to say that good is something that gives us value for something else. Value, even though we will talk about that in a later session, value is something that gives you interest, that you get interest in because of something that the thing or that the person or an act brings to you. For example, you are interested in going to a concert. You're interested in going out with another person because you feel love with that person. You are compatible. I don't know. But something is good in her or in him that makes you go out of yourself and go out with that person. The Greeks call this good in the way of perfectioning ourselves and pursuit of plenitude as eudaimonia. That's the principle of happiness. The eudaimonia, as it is called in Greek, it's the good demon. Everyone has demons. All these demons are inside us, but these are the good ones that make us pursue happiness. It is pleasure? No, of course not. It is pleasure. Pleasure is something that you get from some activities. For example, I get pleasure watching a movie. I get pleasure eating some meal. But that's not happiness. Happiness is even more. It's the way of perfecting ourselves. So we need to go deeper and deeper. Happiness is the ultimate goal that I have to achieve. But in the meantime, while I am going through the road, I achieve happiness. This is why we need first to understand the kinds of good that we can find in our lives. First, we have tangible goods. All of those stuff that we can see. For example, this pen is a tangible good, but it's not the good. This cell phone, it's also a tangible good, but it's not the best or the ultimate goal. The intangible things, for example, internet, where we can talk about this class through YouTube, for example, or through another social media. So those are kind of intangible goods that makes us a really interesting life. Then we have the moral goods, that it's the goods that make us better. For example, one good in a moral way or in an ethical way is becoming better or behaving good, be grateful. And finally, the ontological goods. The ontological goods is the way something is made for. For example, a cell phone is made for making calls. Even though now we know that they are smartphones and we can play and we can do all of those stuff, they are made for calls. Now, maybe, for example, an apple tree is made to develop into a tree that brings us apples. But not all the trees brings us apples. So if a tree or an apple tree doesn't give us apples in the season of apples, it has a bad ontological way of behaving. But if he's doing good, he's an ontological good. So happiness, which kind of this is? Well, we can say that we can get happiness from tangible things, but not only. We can say also that we need some intangible things, for example, like hug or to feel in love, but also something that get us better and better and better. So it's also moral. And if all that works in the right place or works fine, we then notice that the happiness is also ontological. That's why fulfilling all the four kinds of goods is that happiness is the ultimate goal. Thank you and see you next time.